Sydney Sweeney is up. According to the link, man, I tweeted this earlier. Everybody's hollering about Sydney Sweeney. I'm like, let's ask the 16-year-old boys. Oh, yeah, they're still in the bathroom. And that's my point of entry into this conversation. We'll start with teenage boy behavior and go precipitously downhill from there intellectually.
I guess Lincoln Failla will not be on Fox Across America or Fox News Saturday because he'll be preoccupied otherwise. So,
can you imagine though, of all the ways they've found to alienate people, going after boobs? Because you're going after boobs. You know this. I know this.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
And did you read the clip in the Atlantic? How they said this idea, pushed by right-wing commentators, that people should feel free to like boobs. I'm like, dude, this is not like a liberation moment. We weren't quietly sitting around liking boobs the last 5,000 years. We were starting wars over them. People were almost losing the presidency over them. There were, you know what I'm saying, Zioli? Like, this whole pretend thing, I don't even know what to do with it. I don't.
We've been on team boobs for a long time, but it's so funny because you and I have talked about this on your radio show on America's Newsroom together. Everybody hates the left right now. I mean, the Democrats are polling lower than the crap that's on the bottom of the subway trains, and this is part of the reason why everybody hates them, because they found a way to take a jeans ad and make it about Nazi eugenics.
Which is bananas. Okay, it's like, first of all, the idea that there's like a correlation between killing 6 million people and a chick showing you her hooties. I mean, number one, it's intellectually disqualifying. Okay, but the number two is like, again, boobies. Of all the things, not like if Fox used to be like the war on Christmas. Okay, the war on Christmas had more support. The war on boobies has zero support. Women like boobies. Okay, listen. I had them as a fifth grade boy. Like, I had skin in this fight. So I don't know, man. I think this is so funny. Like, we always think like we're at this point where they're like, they must be messing with us.
Yeah,
but they're not messing with us. Like, that's the point. Yeah. They're not messing with us. I don't know what's coming out of the vents of a Subaru these days, but it's really doing something to white women that's not healthy.
Do you think maybe these white liberal women really, this is just because they're losing NPR, they're finding something to hold on to? So it's like, this is secret code for Nazi eugenics because she's blonde with blue eyes and has great genes, and therefore obviously everybody else isn't welcome in America. Which, by the way, Failla, Zioli, we got a problem, buddy, because we don't fit that description, and we certainly don't look like her.
No, you make a good point. Here's the truth, man. It's like, it's a tyranny of the minority in that we know this is not like everybody in the Democratic Party, okay? But it is this old business model where the squeaky wheel gets the most grease. And they have been placating nutbags for a long time now.
Yes.
And for us, it's like, how are we supposed to resist this? I always say, like, hey, as a comedian, I'm trying to make fun of both sides. And you do. But if one side is declaring war on boobs, they're giving you so much ammunition, you don't really get to the other side, And that's the issue we have right now. Is like the liberals are making us do one-sided comedy, and it's not our fault. Like, 5 years ago, they were not telling us men could have babies. If you're going to say that, yes, you're going to take some of the punchlines away from the Republican side of the aisle. That's where we are right now.
We are.
It's hard to be a fair comic.
It's not, your job is not easy, and somehow you're going to do it, and you're going to do it well next Saturday night at Soul Joel's in Pottstown. I was just by Pottstown the other day, so it's about 45 minutes from the station, so it's really easy to get to, Soul Joel's, and it's going to be a lot of fun Saturday night, August 9th. And you got to go see Jimmy Failla in person because, a lot of the stuff he can't say on the air because of the FCC and just sheer common decency. So that's why you want to see him live on stage. But, you know, there's another boob who is making a spectacle of himself, and that's my Senator Cory Booker, who, again, yelling and screaming. And this is what they're doing now, right? I mean, they're cursing. You got Eric Swalwell bench pressing and swimming. And, I mean, they're all trying to go viral. You talk about this a lot. It's Mount Clickmore. It's to try to have these viral gotcha moments. And they're all like raging lunatics now, hoping that 5 seconds of them yelling and screaming will go viral, and then everybody will be talking about them.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to watch this because this is what's happening, okay? In the Democrat postmortem of the 2024 election, they're attributing their loss to, well, Trump did a lot of social media. Well, Trump was kind of crash. Well, Trump supporters make memes. But what they don't get is that those memes, those social media appearances only worked because there were popular policies inside every one of those videos, every one of those jokes, every one of those memes. So what the Democrats are doing is they're taking a hamburger helper recipe, but they're not adding the hamburger. They don't have the policies. They don't have the thing anybody supports. So you're just getting all of the, you know, the sideshow things, but there's nothing for anybody to buy into. You know, that's the Cory Booker thing. Do you know how many times we've now seen him cry on the House floor? Like, Cory Booker's like every one of his House speeches, he looks like a guy at the end of The Notebook who's crying because he knows the girl's upset and he wants to get laid by showing the same level of empathy. Like, and that's reality. Like, ladies, that's why men cried in the movie theater at The Notebook. They're like, I can't believe this is what I have to do to get laid. I have to sit here and pretend I like this documentary about the Biden presidency. You know, it's sad.
I heard you endorsed Hunter Biden for president in 2028.
Listen, I love this idea, man. I know you're joking, but I mean, who are you going to tell me, honestly, looking around that party, who is going to beat him out of curiosity? Because he can fundraise, you know that. He's connected. He's got all the Ukrainian money. He's got all the Moscow money. And I said this last week on my show. Kilmeade's like, Jimmy, are you really going to say a crackhead could be the nominee for the Democrats? I'm like, dude, Marion Barry smoked crack. He got elected mayor of D.C. twice. So it's not like the Democratic Party is going to hold that against you.
Yeah, no, I saw your show Saturday night. I wasn't on it, but I saw it.
Oh, let me tell you. Go ahead.
No. I just had to get that off my chest. But now we can move on. I got it off. I got it off, and now we can move on. No, but you're not wrong. And the fact is that Hunter has a redemption story because he can say he overcame all this stuff if he really did overcome all this stuff. Because I don't know. I mean, you've been around entertainers and comedians and performers your whole entire life. You've also driven a cab. So you've been around cokeheads your whole life. He did that 2.5, 3 hour interview at 120 miles an hour the entire time. Is he actually clean and sober, Jimmy Failla?
No, I think what he's doing, though, is I don't think it's crack anymore. I think now that Joe doesn't have to appear in public, Hunter's using that B12 they used to shoot him up with. Because you're right. When you said the 110 mile an hour thing, like I hadn't thought of that. Do you remember when Biden was clearly shot up at that one State of the Union where he screamed for an hour and 40 minutes straight?
Yes.
That was the one. That was the State of the Union where the second to last line, now's the time to choose between unity and schmeckina-hemina-hemina. You remember he said that? And we were all like, that's not a word. And everybody stood up and clapped in the Democratic Party. I'm like, that's not a word. And that's probably what it is. He's probably B12ing now, because it's probably harder to get the crack. That would make sense.
Yeah, it would. And because he also left it at the White House. I love how he's like, it wasn't mine, but he knew exactly where it was. He's like, that was not my crack on the third shelf behind the second book behind the fake fern and the cactus. That was no way would I ever leave it there.
Oh, that's so funny. I know. But listen, man, he's right now, is he not the standard bearer? Who are you going to give it to? You give it to AOC? Probably not. I mean, I know she wants to run and all of that thing. You know, it's so. I was going to make a joke. It's so sad. Do you know we used to make jokes like, I have a better shot of winning Mr. Universe or Miss Universe than she does of being the president. But in the modern era, I actually have a shot of winning Miss Universe. It's like their policies are so weird. They're ruining old joke formulas. You know.
Listen, I know, and I thought it was very funny today in America's Newsroom, you and Brenberg, when you said Biden 2028 is well, you say it. It was your joke.
Whatever.
I don't want to.
Oh, Hunter 2028 is his blood alcohol content. Yeah, that's a true story. But But you know what? Everybody in your audience needs to know that
line.
You just watch. I know, but everybody in your audience just needs to know that you watch Newsroom all day, hate watching the guests. Like, I should have been on there. I was on Monday. I did great. That's what's going on. Are you becoming that guy who yells at the TV?
That's all I do. I'm like, that's ridiculous. They had more time than I had. That's not fair. It's not fair. And I just start throwing things and then texting Perino. Like, well, again, And then this is probably why she hasn't written back at all. And the restraining order came again in the mail today. But I'll tell you what, I was on there Monday with Kennedy. Not for long, though, because the president was speaking for a very, very long time. How about him with the UK Prime Minister? And he sits there and he just starts talking the mayor of London in front of the guy. And, because the Prime Minister of the UK is so polite. He's like, well, he's a friend of mine. He's decent. He's a nice guy, but Trump doesn't care. Just like, he's a scumbag.
Yeah, that was amazing. See, this is the one thing. Like, Trump is like this friend who reenacts arguments he got into on you. Let me explain this to you, and maybe you've seen this in your life. Do you ever have a buddy who he will say something to you about, like, an argument he had, and he says it in a way that the people around you think he's arguing with you? So he'd be like, yeah, I don't care what you say. You do not look at a 5-year-old boy like that, you pervert. And he's like, the people around you think he's talking to you, but it's actually a reenactment. He has no regard for the person next to him in terms of what people are going to think about their role in the conversation. And it's a fascinating thing. Because how many times have you seen him do this, where he takes it's a bilateral meeting. So he's got another head of state sitting there, and he starts getting into it with a reporter telling Kristen Collins, shut up, I didn't pick you. Or he goes on a rant about, Virginia Epstein stole a girl from Mar-a-Lago, and anybody surrounding him is like, can I please not be in this Epstein shot right now? But they're in it. He don't care, man. He don't care.
And it makes what otherwise would be a very boring event very entertaining to watch. So, there's that. Soul Joel's Saturday night, a week from this Saturday, August 9th. You go to Fox Across America to get your tickets and see Jimmy live on stage in Pottstown. And if you have never seen him live on stage, you got to do it because it's very special, very unique. And really, I mean, you're at any moment you could be canceled. Honestly, it's amazing you haven't been yet. And you even wrote a book on getting canceled. So, and it was a bestseller. I have to say that it's in your contract. So I have to mention that it was a New York Times bestseller. Otherwise you get a little uppity. But your on-stage act is very, very good. And it's different from what you see on Fox News. That's why people need to go see on stage. Yeah,
no, that's a real thing. There's literally 50 fireable offenses in the first 10 minutes, but I make a good case for why. You know what I mean? And I'm not making that up. Like, I actually have to issue a disclaimer at the top of the show about why I'm going to say the things I say and how you're going to be okay and all that. Because that's the era we live in now.
Yeah.
But it makes it that much more fun. You see, there was a time when America didn't know the difference between a joke and a hate crime. Okay, we've talked about this. That's why I wrote that book. And that's pretty much the lens through which I distill comedy. It's a time machine. I get on stage and I'm like, I was grandfathered into comedy in the 80s where you really could say anything. And so for that reason, like, I'm operating, when a gambling boat goes out like 10 miles off the coast, so it's subjected to different, laws. That's my comedy act. I go out into international waters and then we open up the blackjack tables and the strippers come out, and you guys are going to love it.
That's perfect. Excellent stuff. Well, you're the best, buddy. I appreciate everything you do, and we're looking forward to hearing your show tonight at 7 o'clock right here, of course, on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What do we got coming up on Fox Across America tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. So do you remember the Leah Thomas story at the University of Pennsylvania, someplace near and dear to the listeners' hearts right now? Paula Scanlon, who had to get naked next to Leah Thomas every day in the locker room, is going to be there. Katrina Campins from Mansion Global is stopping by to talk boobs, and
nice.
Kennedy's going to be there. So it's a stack deck. We're trying to get Kennedy out of the bar as we speak. We're an hour till showtime. We're going to make some moves, but we're ready. We're not nervous. We got this.
Paula Scanlon is coming to Cape May August 15th for my next live show. You were there last summer.
She's cool as hell. I didn't know you knew her. I didn't know you knew her. She's cool as hell.
She is the best. She is so cool. She's so fun. So we'll definitely be tuned into that. All right, get your tickets, Soul Joel's, before they sell out. FoxAcrossAmerica.com, August 9th, next Saturday night. Failla on stage, right in our own backyard in Pottstown, PA. All right, buddy, I will talk to you soon. I'll see you soon, and we'll be tuning in at 7 o'clock.
You the man. Miss you already, boo. See ya.
See you, pal.